All right, let's take a look at what we did last time. I'm going to go ahead and press play, and you can see I'm moving my character around. I hit spacebar, my character can jump. He's got some pretty good hops there, which is completely okay for what I'm trying to do. Say I'd like to add I don't know, let's say 3D object cube here, and I want this to be a platform. I can do something like this, and then we could turn our game into maybe a platformer. Let's see. So, and let's press play. The only problem is you're probably noticing down here is it would be nice if we could have a camera sort of follow our player around. Well, that's the point of this tutorial. So because the camera is its own, now if you want to make an advanced camera script and have it have other functionality, you want to make a folder. But I really think that for now, I'm just going to have a single camera script, and I'm going to call it camera follow. And let's go ahead and make sure that we attach this to our main camera here. So here's our main camera is selected. I'm going to grab my camera follow script and put it down there. Let's go ahead and open up camera follow, and then I'm going to be using the script that we created before for other games. So I'm going to just paste it in and explain it. All right, so let's start from the top. So we have a transform here, and it's really, I made it target so it's generic enough. So for obvious reasons, we can reuse the script over and over again. But we're going to have it reference the player's transform position. This is how far away we want our camera to be from the player. And they're all public, so we can adjust these in the editor. Here's the height of our camera, or the height where we want our camera in the scene. Here. And then smooth speed is how quickly as our camera moves from location to location. We want it to move. And we're going to be using that against offset, which is how far we want it away from the character. So right off the bat, we're going to set the offset position to the current position of this camera to minus that of the player. So this is how far off we're going to be from that. So if we subtract the two values, we're like halfway. So, and then late update, you can think of it as more of a physics update in case we decide to use physics. But it's really, otherwise just consider that it runs every frame just like the update function. Now we have a vector3 variable here. It's storing, remember, X, Y, and Z. So we're storing right off the bat the position of our character plus all of those values. So here's our offset value. That's how far away we are, times our distance. Now we're going to add that to the y-axis times the height. And this is really what's just kind of moving the camera's positioning for us. And then as our character, or as our camera moves between those positions, so as our character's running around or whatever, this is what smooths out that movement. And that's where we're using a lerp. And we have three parameters here. One is the starting position, which is going to be the position of the camera. The desired position, which remember, it's really the player is what we're generating here. And then the speed in which we're moving between those two positions. And then here's where we actually apply this smooth position to the positioning of this camera. Now remember, transform.lookAt will let our camera look at our target. So the entire time it's just going to be facing the target, which is the player. So if I get Control S to save this, I'm going to pause the video. Let's return to Unity and see this in action. All right, so here's our main camera. And I want to make sure that I have my player dragged in there. Now these values here are different because the last time I wanted to show you a little bit of a different way to make those values public. But last time we had it inside of a vector3. So this is just an alternate way of doing it. You could see right off the bat, here's our camera is following, right? And it would be nice if, I think we almost are, it'd be nice if we had, let's give our character like a nose or something. Because right now we're like not sure what direction and everything is white. So here's the z-axis. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to add a like sphere. And I'm going to make that something like this in the front. And I'm going to make that a child of our player until we decide to, until we can figure out, we bring in we actually have a character. It's a Palm Beach Atlantic specific character that we can use. Next, I'm going to right-click in here and I'm going to go to Create, and I'm going to do Materials. And I'm just going to call this ground material. So ground _ MTRL. And I'll drag this onto this ground here. And then for the color, we'll make it like maybe a little bit of a green. That's going to help us out. So now when I press play, you can see I'm actually moving in the direction of the nose. So as I'm pushing W, it's moving that direction on Z. And if I press spacebar, my character can jump. It just seems like this big, vast wasteland. So you can use the terrain, or we'll get into later Pro Builder, but you can start to create out things like just for placement if you like. Like here's a building. And, and there's a modeling course as well that we'll have later. So we'll do this. And then I'll hit Control D and we just start to form like a little generic city here. And these are all just placeholders. And this will help us to kind of see around our environment. And so as I'm moving around here now, you can see, now there's a little bit of jaggedness, so we have to adjust those values. But you can see now I'm walking in between these buildings. Let's see. Let's select our main character for a second. Here's our player. Or we want our main camera rather. And let's take our smooth speed and make it 1 and see. Yeah, that removed a lot of that weirdness that was going on. So we've got some pretty good testing going on. I can jump. We've got that character moving around. So for now, that looks pretty good. I think that's you can go back in, also adjust the height. I kind of like it a little bit lower, like this. So, all right, with that done, in the next video, we'll go ahead and start to think about getting that NPC to realize that our player is there.